Alike.
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 Eric, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, so, I mean, alike, to me, means similar to something else. So, like, for example, I have a twin brother. You would say we look alike. We're very similar to each other. Outside of that, I mean, I think that's pretty much it.
That wraps it up.
Yeah.
That's a wrap for that. Yeah. One thing is very similar to another thing. They are alike.
A very, very common word. You would
Yes.
use alike daily, all the time.
So, we'll say alike is the same as same.
Well, no,
Not
because they're not the
identical.
same. Because same implies they're
Identical.
Yeah, they are
Exactly.
identical, exact copies. And alike means they are not exactly the same, but they are very similar.
Yeah, so there's some room there for discrepancy.
And similar and alike is the same thing.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're saying, you mean more when you say indistinguishable than you do when you say alike. If you're going to say indistinguishable, then they are the same in every single way.
You cannot tell them apart.
Exactly.
A
But they're not same.
if to distinguish something from another is to be able to tell it apart. So if it's indistinguishable, you can't tell two things apart.
So
that-
things could be alike, but not indistinguishable.
Right.
As long as they're similar to each other, you would say they're alike.
So if Nova and I were dressed alike, maybe we'd be wearing the same color shirt and blue jeans, but we wouldn't be identical.
Right.
We would only be indistinguishable if we were clones.
Right.
Even identical
Not even
twins. No, even identical
Maybe
twins have differences in the way that they dress, the way that they talk.
Yeah.
There are still differences that tell them apart and give them that individuality. But to be indistinguishable, you would
Sure.
not be able to tell
So
at all.
if identical twins dressed exactly the same, they would be indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We're very close.
indistinguishable is basically the same.
Yes.
Is that true?
Two things that you cannot tell apart from each other. So maybe they're not exactly the same, but you can't tell the difference.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If everything is uniform, everything
It's
is
the same.
the same inherently because it's mandated. So something that's something
Yeah.
that's uniform, there's something that's dictating how that object can be. Right? So if you're talking about like a school uniform, the
Right.
school is saying, okay, everybody has to wear this. But if you're saying,
Well, I think the way most people are familiar with the word uniform would be like an outfit. Like a sports team or a school. Everyone has to wear the
Yeah.
same
A
uniform.
military uniform.
But we also use uniform to describe other things that are the same. It doesn't have to be an outfit. You could have, all number 2 pencils laying out on the table, and you would say all of those are uniform. They're the same.
right, that's, I guess,
If
where
there
I
was
was trying
one
to get
that
at
was
with
different,
it.
if you had one mechanical pencil, they would no longer be uniform. You had one thing that was different. So it's a synonym for alike in a lot of ways.
But it doesn't have to be like man-made. Like,
No? Mm-mm.
yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be man-made. I guess what I was trying to get at is that if something is uniform, then there is a pattern that it is following. So like Eric's analogy with the pencils on the desk. So you had somebody come in and arrange all the desks nicely with a piece of paper and a pencil. It's uniform. Somebody came in and made it look all the same. But,
or
you
at
know,
least very similar.
or at least very similar.
Yeah, because I feel like with uniform, it means that everything is very, very similar, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. There's a little bit of wiggle room. It just has to be close enough to be, if we all decided to wear Geo Club t-shirts and, some jeans, then we would all be,
Dressed
uniformly,
in uniform.
we would be uniformly dressed, but maybe I'm wearing tennis shoes and Nova's wearing boots and different people are wearing their hair differently. We would still all be uniformly dressed, but it might not be identical.
I still
Uniform
think there's
means,
a little bit of context.
All as one.
Right, but so say you're producing a product. You want your product to be uniform throughout because you want all of your products to look and be exactly the same. You want the same quality.
Right.
So especially if you're dealing with something like electronic, you don't want you know, a millimeter off, because that could really throw off everything else. Yeah, so the end.
Yeah. And,
that thought.
right. Alike. So we'll say alike is more oral than writing. Like you will use it in speaking than writing. Or you,
I would use it in both.
Yeah.
I use it more in speaking. But I only do scientific writing now, so.
like similar is more like a scientific writing.
Yeah, I would say similar if I were writing. Probably.
Personal preference, I think.
Okay, so it's not like kind of a norm.
I think they're
I would
both
say similar is a little
very
bit more.
common words.
Yeah, they're both common words.
There's more more the same about something similar than there is alike. So we'd be dressed alike if we were wearing blue jeans and a purple shirt, but we would be dressed similarly. Maybe that's opposite.
To me,
I guess
they're
it's
the same.
context,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You know, would we be dressing
Tomato,
similarly if we were both in sweaters and black pants?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I guess you could just really just use them interchangeably.
Yeah.
But I would say we use similar more in scientific applications than alike.
Yeah,
There's something-
alike seems more informal to me.
Yeah, something sort
Yeah.
of juvenile about it.
Oh, I think it just seems a little bit. It seems a little more
Basic.
familiar. It's a
Yeah.
little more informal.
Casual.
Okay. The opposite of alike is different.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
is that any identical thing for different? Is price different?
Not the same.
Not the same.
Yeah,
do
any
we have a word
synonyms?
to
Any
express
synonyms
things
for
that couldn't
different?
be more opposite of each other? I don't know.
Unalike.
Unlike.
Well,
that
maybe-
word?
Yeah, unalike is
It
the
is
opposite of
Yeah, maybe the word
alike.
opposite.
I
is
don't.
better.
I would not use
Opposite?
the word unalike.
Yeah,
I do
wouldn't
not
either.
think that's.
Those two things are unlike. That's,
No.
That sounds strange.
I don't even know that that's a real word.
I'm pretty
You
sure
would
that's a
say-
real
You
word.
would say different.
You would say different. I
There's
wouldn't
two
say
things.
unalike.
What word you say about like different? Like,
Well, opposite is a good
Distinct-
word.
Yeah, opposite.
Distinguishable.
Dissimilar is a word.
Yeah. I'm gonna look this one up after.
Oh, good. You should. Yeah, different.
Dissimilar is a word for sure.
but it's not very commonly used. I would use different.
so different basically is the only word you will use normally.
Sometimes it depends on context. You could use distinct. Two things are distinct from each other.
Sure.
But
Same way you
that's
would use distinguishable.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
You could say things sound
Oh.
alike,
Yeah, they sound alike.
smell
Maybe
alike.
maybe two people's voices are alike. People always say that my voice is like my mom's. Our voices
Right.
are alike.
Everybody in my family says that too. Oh, you and your mom
Just
sound
like your
just
mom.
alike.
Yeah.
They're
Um,
just alike. There's
yeah.
a phrase that we use a lot.
Just alike. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Just
are
like
just
you
alike.
can directly use this. word,
Or
like,
just
yeah.
or just like something else. Just like or just alike.
Yeah. Looks good.
I love language.
Me too.
Alike.